Republicans are Nazis. You cannot separate yourselves from the bad white people.
Growing up in the 90s, I never thought much about race. Sure, you noticed, but never really seemed to matter that much, at least not to me.
Being a white, straight, cisgender man, it's the top of the pile.
I'm on the top of the pile. That's me. Am I racist?
I would really appreciate it if you left.
I'm trying to learn. I'm on this journey.
Can you please leave?
If I'm going to sort this out, I need to go deeper undercover. If I want to be an ally, I need to look like one.
What is racism?
Martin Luther King said not to judge people by the...
Martin Luther King said a lot of stuff.
Is America inherently racist?
What the hell is that?
The word inherent is challenging there. America is racist to its bones. All of the...
So inherently.
Yeah.
The entire system has to burn. And I'm not going to even use save this country. This country is not worth saving. This country is a piece of...
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
They gonna say I'm racist.
Joining us now is Matt, certified DEI expert.
Here's my certification. Where are you guys in your anti-racist journeys? So I'll look around the room and point to who we believe is the most racist person in the room.
We want to rename the George Washington Monument to the George Floyd Monument. Would you mind signing it? You will?
What do you think about this issue of heteronormativity and how it intersects with the broader structures of racism in society?
They gonna say I'm racist.
What's up with white people? What are you doing to decenter your whiteness?
Who's making it the center? Why are they doing that?
And what you're doing is you're stretching out of your whiteness. This is more for you and less for you. White.
Folks.
White.
Trash. White supremacy.
White woman.
White boy.
White.
Entitlement.
White.
Centering.
White.
Silence.
Is there a black person around here?
So there's a black person right here. Does he not exist?
They gonna say I'm racist, but they call everybody racist.
Hi, Robin.
Hi. And what's your name?
I'm Matt.
Matt. Hi, Matt.
Nice to meet you.
I just had to ask who you are because you have to be careful.
Never be too careful.
They gonna say you racist.
In theaters
but they
now.
call everybody
It's rated
racist.
PG-13. Buy tickets now.
Today, the Matt Walsh Show, my new film, Am I Racist, premieres in theaters this weekend. But shockingly, some of my co-stars in the film, the DEI grifters we expose, are not happy about the movie. They have come out to denounce it as Nazi propaganda, quote unquote, among other things. We'll discuss that today. Also, Donald Trump unveils a new tax plan as Kamala still refuses to unveil any plans at all of any kind. And the left's hysteria about the reports of Haitians eating cats has reached a fever pitch. We'll talk about all that and more today on the Matt Walsh Show.
I wanna know, am I racist? Am I racist? Why do you judge by the color of our faces? Is racial division just a plan by the Matrix? They burn down our cities, then they get called courageous. Instead of condemning the media, give them praises. Oh man, what is the benefit? When the media ruin our images. If you a white male, you get called a white supremacist. If your opinion and the narrative have differences.
Tuesday night's debate made one thing clear. Mainstream media will do anything to silence our voices and bury the truth. That's why we exist. Daily Wire Plus gives you unlimited access to the truth with uncensored daily shows, free from ads or moderators, live breaking news coverage, and the hard-hitting investigative journalism the left doesn't want you to see. Join the fight today at dailywire.com/subscribe and use code FIGHT for 47% off new Daily Wire Plus memberships. The deal is for a very limited time. Join the fight now, dailywire.com/subscribe with code FIGHT for 47% off. Time is one of the most precious commodities. Don't waste the precious little time you have with mind-numbing TV shows or the latest TikTok dance trends. Instead, use that time to learn something new and inspiring with Hillsdale College. Hillsdale College offers more than 40 free online courses on subjects like the works of C.S. Lewis, the rise and fall of the Roman Republic, and the history of the Christian Church. If you're not sure where to start, check out American Citizenship and Its Decline with Victor Davis Hanson. In this 8-lecture course, Dr. Hanson explores the history of citizenship in the West and the threats it faces today, like the erosion of the middle class, the disappearance of our borders, the growth of an unaccountable deep state, and the rise of our globalist organizations. This course presents the great triumphs and achievements of our nation's past, as well as the shortcomings and failures. It offers a broad and unbiased study of our nation's history. The course is self-paced, so you can start whenever and wherever you want. Start your course for free, American Citizenship and Its Decline, with Victor Davis Hanson today. Go to hillsdale.edu/Walsh to start. It's free, easy to get started. That's hillsdale.edu/Walsh to enroll, hillsdale.edu/Walsh. Today's the day that my new film, Am I Racist, releases in theaters nationwide. This is the most significant moment in my own career personally, and a seminal achievement for all of the incredible people who worked on our film, starting with our director, Justin Folk, our producers, Sean Hampton, Brian Hoffman, Benyam Capel, Dallas Saunier, and of course the Daily Wire and the executive team, Jeremy Boring, Caleb Robinson, John Lewis, along with Ben Shapiro, who's an executive producer on the film, and in fact, one of the first people to see the original cut and give us notes on it. This film would not be what it is now without every person that I listed and many others that I haven't listed. I can't read through the whole list. You'll have to watch the movie and stick around for the credits to see the entire list. And by the way, you should stick around for the credits because, this isn't a Marvel movie, but we do have our own little post-credit scene that you don't want to miss. Anyway, the point is that this film was incredibly ambitious from the start. We knew what we wanted to do and what sort of movie we wanted to make, but we had no idea if we could pull it off, especially given my, increased profile and notoriety from the success of What is a Woman, and going out in that environment to try to do the same kind of film, but actually to do it in a more ambitious way. We were always a little bit unsure about how it would work. And someday I can tell the whole story on how exactly we managed to navigate all of the landmines and create the film that you can now watch in a theater near you. I will say that it took significantly longer than I thought it would take to make, and was even more difficult than I imagined it would be. When we finished filming, finally, about a year after we shot our first scene, the odyssey had only really just begun, because now came the time to take this unwieldy mammoth of a thing with all of its dozens of hours of raw footage and shape it into a cinematic narrative. Unfortunately, we have a brilliant artist for an editor in Marshall Lee, who made this painful process much easier than it had any right to be. We also have Justin Folk, our director, who knows how to comb through footage and find the story. He's brilliant at that. We also spent many cumulative hours in the edit bay and in screening rooms with Jeremy discussing and debating every last detail of this thing. It was a painstaking and sometimes necessarily painful creative collaboration, but that's what's required to make something great. And none of us were going to settle for anything less than what we consider to be great, something that we could all be proud of, and something that lives up to our previous film. Sadly, though, not everyone involved in this film is proud of it, apparently. Some of my co-stars, the people that I share the screen with, have demonstrated, if you can believe it, some embarrassment about their role in the movie. In fact, quite tragically, 4 of the DEI experts that I interviewed or featured in the film have, in recent weeks, deleted their Twitter accounts. And they've run away from social media. A number of them have also denounced the movie in recent days. Kate Slater, the anti-racist educator, now infamous for discussing the racial implications of Disney princesses with me in the movie, she posted on Instagram this week that the movie is a piece of and she's going off the radar to avoid criticism from the angry white men who might come and criticize her after the movie. Meanwhile, one of the hosts of Race to Dinner, Syra Rao, who's featured in one of the pivotal scenes of the film, according to a report in the Post-Millennial today, condemned the movie during a Race to Dinner digital book club event recently. She warned people not to see it. She called it a fascist Nazi white supremacy film, and she claimed that she was conned into being in the film. As a con artist, of course, herself, she knows a lot about, being conned, though apparently not enough to avoid it happening to her. If we did con her, which of course we did not, for the record, we simply gave her an opportunity to appear in our documentary about anti-racism. And that's an opportunity that she was eager to take advantage of. And we did, in fact, make a documentary about anti-racism. We did exactly what we said. No conning involved. I mean, how could Syra Rao accuse me of being a con artist? Who does Syra Rao think I am? Syra Rao? Finally, just yesterday, Robin DiAngelo issued a statement. And it's lengthy. It is also everything that you'd want from Robin DiAngelo, from a Robin DiAngelo statement. Posted to her website on Thursday, her statement is titled, "About That Film, ... And here's what she says in part. Quote, "Back in 2023, I was contacted by a group who claimed to be making a documentary film called Shades of Justice about efforts to address racism in the United States. They plan to interview anti-racist activists, authors, and thought leaders in service of supporting the cause of racial equity. They offered me between $10,000 and $20,000 for an interview. I said, let's meet in the middle with $15,000, and I agreed to participate. I have since donated that sum to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. Now, side note here, Shades of Justice is, in fact, one of the organizational names that we used, while we were making this film. What does Shades of Justice mean? It doesn't really mean anything, but we figured it's the kind of meaningless name that would resonate with the woke crowd, and it did. I'll also say that I appreciate Robin's generosity in meeting in the middle with just $15,000. She really gave us a deal. You see, it was a bargain. We talked to her for about 2 hours, 15 grand, it's about, a little over $7,000 an hour. She's very generous of her to only charge us that much. She continues, quote, when I arrived for the interview, a few things felt off. The grips would not make eye contact with me, and the interviewer, who was introduced as Matt, appeared to be wearing an ill-fitting wig. Now, let's stop here again, Robin. First of all, the wig fit very well. It was a nice wig. That was an authentic wig. It was made from real human hair. I harvested the hair myself from a homeless guy in exchange for a Snickers bar and a bottle of Jack Daniels. Second, more to the point, you claim that you noticed I was wearing a wig the moment you sat down, and yet you still did the interview? In your version of events, okay, the crew was nervous and shifty, which they weren't, but this is what you're saying. And you come in, you see that, you sit down, there's some guy sitting there with an ill-fitting wig. Things felt off, yet, Robin, you still sat there and talked to me on camera for 2 hours. Whose fault is that? If what you say is true, then we can only conclude that you were willing to do anything just for the money, which is basically the whole point of the movie. So thank you for emphasizing the point for us. Reading on, quote, Matt presented himself as someone new to anti-racist work and seemed earnest, and his questions did not come across as adversarial. By the end, however, things got weird. Matt asked what I thought about reparations for Black Americans. I said that I agreed with reparations, but that it was not my area of expertise. He then pulled up a chair and invited a Black crew member who went by Ben to sit down with us, took out his wallet and handed Ben some cash. He said that if I believed in reparations, I should also give Ben cash. While some Black people have asked white people to engage in reparations by giving directly to individuals, reparations are generally understood as a systemic approach to past and current injustice. The way Matt set this up felt intended to put Ben and I on the spot. Because Matt was pushing this on us, I expressed my discomfort and checked in with Ben to be sure that he was okay with receiving cash in this way. Ben reassured me that he was, so I went to my wallet and handed him my cash, and the interview ended. Okay, so let's back up here and review again your version of events, Robin. You walked into the room to do an interview with an organization that you knew very little about. Things felt off, you say. The interviewer was wearing a strange wig. Then the interviewer in this wig forces a Black man to sit down and receive cash reparations. You felt like the whole thing was a setup and intended to put you on the spot, but you still paid the reparations. Even in spite of all that, you still paid. That's your defense. That's what you're saying. Now, as for me, I don't want to give spoilers away for the film. I don't care how many times some of these spoilers have been reported by the media. I refuse on principle to officially confirm the legitimacy of any of the spoilers. Everybody will have to go to the theater this weekend to watch I'm a Racist for themselves and see what exactly happens. But if what you say is true, if it is true, then it would seem to make you not only a fool, but a money-grubbing grifter, which again is sort of the whole point of the film. I will say that your assumption that my Black friend, Ben, was manipulated into taking part in this alleged reparations exercise is quite demeaning and infantilizing to him. No great shock coming from the woman who demeans and infantilizes Black people for a living. If this reparations thing actually did happen, as you claim, how do you know Ben was not a willing participant? In fact, how do you know that he wasn't forcing me to do it? Maybe I'm the innocent victim in all this. Have you thought about that, Robin? Continuing on, she says, after reviewing the sequence of events and discussing it with colleagues, I realized that they had lied about their agenda and I had been played. I spread the word on my networks. Unfortunately, last month I started receiving hateful and misogynistic emails. Some referenced the Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro's website, which announced that the film is indeed being released. It's not titled Shades of Justice, nor is it meant to support the anti-racist cause. It is a Borat-style mockumentary titled Am I Racist? And designed to humiliate and discredit anti-racist educators and activists. Their deception was carefully planned and well-funded. The interviewer was, in fact, Matt Walsh, a far-right provocateur, backed by Shapiro and Daily Wire Plus, and yes, wearing a wig. Am I Racist is not only about me, and I was not the only one who fell for their deception. Sadly, many of those being mocked are women of color. I've not seen the film, nor do I plan to watch it, so I don't know how they have used any of my interview or how they've edited it. But if you see clips of the full film, consider the source, Matt Walsh. So who is Matt Walsh and what is his and his backers' agenda? Luckily for us, he has clearly answered that question without shame time and time again. She then goes on to quote and provide a link to Southern Poverty Law Center's hit piece on me. They say that I'm a white supremacist shock jock, etc. All in all, much of what she says about me and the Daily Wire and our film is not true, especially when she claims that our film was well funded. In fact, this was a very low budget operation, at least by Hollywood standards. Borat, which she compares our film to, had a budget of around $18 million 20 years ago. Our budget was about 16% of that. Now, from a quality perspective, the film does look much more expensive than it is. Credit to our crew and production team, which is maybe what Robin DiAngelo was picking up on. And, I appreciate, once again, the compliment. She is, though, completely correct about one thing. She says that our intentions are to humiliate and discredit anti-racist educators and activists. And on that point, she could not be more right. That is, in fact, our agenda with this film. We have other things we want to do, too. We want to entertain you. We want to make you laugh. We want to prove that conservatives can successfully make a film like this, the kind of film that until now only liberals like Sacha Baron Cohen have pulled off or even attempted. We have many things we wish to achieve with this movie, but most of all, yes, we want to expose the so-called anti-racist movement. We want to humiliate and discredit these grifters. Or I should say, really, we want to give them an opportunity to humiliate and discredit themselves. That's what we're actually doing. And that is an opportunity that Robin DiAngelo took full advantage of, quite eagerly. She only has herself to blame. And you can see it for yourself, and you really need to see this for yourself. Because I tell you one thing, if you've read the descriptions, I can tell you it is so much worse for her than it even sounds in the descriptions. And you can see that all for yourself right now in theaters. You really don't want to miss it. Now let's get to our 5 headlines. Are you still struggling with back taxes or unfiled returns? The IRS is escalating collections by adding 20,000 new agents and sending millions of demand letters. Handling this alone can be a huge mistake and cost you thousands of dollars. In these challenging times, your best offense is with Tax Network USA. With over 14 years of experience, the experts at Tax Network USA have saved clients millions in back taxes, regardless of the size of your tax issue. Their expertise is your advantage. Tax Network USA offers 3 key services: protection, compliance, and settlement. Upon signing up, Tax Network USA will immediately contact the IRS to secure a protection order, ensuring that aggressive collection activities such as garnishments, levies, or property seizures are halted. If you haven't filed in a while, if you need amended returns, or if you're missing records, Tax Network USA's expert tax preparers will update all of your filings to eliminate the risk of IRS enforcement. Then they'll create a settlement strategy to reduce or eliminate your tax debt. The IRS is the largest collection agency in the world, and now with tax season over, collection season has begun. Tax Network USA can even help with state tax issues. For a complimentary consultation, call today at 1-800-958-1000 or visit their website at tnusa.com/Walsh. That's 1-800-958-1000 or visit tnusa.com/Walsh today. Don't let the IRS take advantage of you. Get the help you need with Tax Network USA. Before we move on, I just have to say, to emphasize here, the double standard. We've been criticized a lot by the left, including, as we heard, some of the people in the film, some of my co-stars, who, by the way, I thought they'd be really proud of our film that we made together. I thought it was a thrill working with all of my co-stars, Robin DiAngelo, Cyber Rao, Kate Slater. And I thought that we really bonded. I thought we had, I thought that we shared, that time together. And I thought we were best friends forever. I thought we were biffs. That's what I've been going around telling everybody. So what a fool I am now. How foolish do I look? I've been telling everyone that Robin DiAngelo is my friend. We had a great moment together. We really had a breakthrough moment. And then to have her coming out and denouncing the film, it's heartbreaking. Anyway, so these people have been, and many others on the left have criticized the film for a lot of reasons, but primarily for the methods we used to make the film, and also the methods we used to make our last film. They say that it's deceptive and it's unethical and it's wrong and all of that. But you notice that all the people on the left saying that about me and my movies, none of them say it about Sacha Baron Cohen. But Sacha Baron Cohen, with Borat and his other characters, uses the same kinds of methods. And the difference is that he is usually trying to embarrass normal working class Americans. That's his target. In the first Borat film, which is hilarious, and I loved the movie. It's undeniably hysterical movie. But he completely humiliates a bunch of working class people who haven't done anything wrong. In fact, often these are nice people trying to be polite and accommodating to someone who they see as just kind of this hapless foreigner. And for that, they've been just like eternally embarrassed in this, what's now become this sort of iconic film. Or think about Nathan Fielder. Now again, I think Nathan Fielder is hilarious and brilliant. It will not surprise you to learn that his style of humor is right up my alley. And I'm sure he probably hates my guts because I'm assuming he's extremely liberal. I don't know, I've just assumed that. And that's fine. I think he's funny. But with his shows, who is he targeting? Again, average Americans. His show, Nathan For You, hysterically funny. But the truth is that he's making a mockery out of small business owners who are just trying to make a living. I mean, in some cases, doing things with these business owners, like misleading them in a direction that would destroy their business. These are like just normal people. They have businesses, they have families. He's probably really harmed them and even ruined their lives in some cases. And yet all that can happen. And virtually nobody, especially on the left, raises any ethical concerns about it whatsoever. And then in our case, we're doing a similar kind of thing, but we're actually punching up. With this film and the last, we're going after academics, so-called experts, DEI grifters, con artists, and in general, upper-class liberals. Okay? There are a few scenes in our film, in the latest film, Am I Racist?, featuring normal working class people. We do go into some low income areas to talk to people who are working class or even lower than that on the income ladder. But in those scenes, as you'll see when you watch the movie, I'm the butt of the joke. And we were very intentional about that. I said this many times all throughout shooting. This was like a mantra as we were shooting it, that I said that if we do any scenes with normal, good, nice people, I need to be the butt of the joke in those scenes. I'm not trying to embarrass normal people who are just trying to live their lives. I don't want to trap them into saying anything that's going to make them look bad. I don't want to do that because we actually do have ethical sensibilities when we're making a movie like this. So if anyone is going to be the butt of the joke in my films, it's either going to be me for the comedic effect, or it's going to be these people who are, again, so-called experts, getting, many of them worth millions of dollars, getting paid thousands of dollars just for, to do seminars and whatever, and the kinds of people who can charge thousands of dollars to be interviewed, okay? Those kinds of people. Or again, upper class liberal types who are never skewered in films like this. So that's who we're doing. That's punching up. Okay, I'm a podcaster with no college education. I'm a community college dropout podcaster. And I'm going into rooms with people with PhDs. All right? So if that's not punching up, I don't know what is. And based on what the left would say about me, they'd expect that like I would be easily humiliated by these people. How could I even trap them? Right? I'm a moron compared to them. I'm uneducated, right? I'm just, that's what they would say. So they should have nothing to worry about. I mean, how could I possibly embarrass these people? How could I trick them into doing anything? How could I manipulate them? How could I do that? These are brilliant experts. So it's interesting that's so, you know, a Hollywood multimillionaire celebrity making a movie where he's tricking and embarrassing, you know, working class people who make $30,000 a year. That's not unethical. But a community college dropout podcaster may be embarrassing millionaires and PhD level people. That is unethical. Huh. Okay. Strange how that works. All right. Let's take a look at this. Trump announced a new tax plan, or a new plan related to taxes that I think is interesting. Watch this.
I'm also announcing that as part of our additional tax cuts, we will end all taxes on overtime. You know what that means? Think of that. Think of that. Think of that. That gives people more of an incentive to work. It gives the companies it's a lot easier to get the people. And, you know, I went to some economists, great ones, and I said, what do you think? They said, it would be unbelievable. You'll get a whole new workforce by doing that. No taxes on overtime. The people who work overtime are among the hardest working citizens in our country. And for too long, no one in Washington has been looking out for them. Those are the people. They really work. They're police officers, nurses, factory workers, construction workers, truck drivers, and machine operators. It's time for the working man and woman to finally catch a break, and that's what we're doing because this is a good one. And I think it's going to be great for the country. So that's why we will be saying that if you're an overtime worker when you're past 40 hours a week, think of that. Your overtime hours will be tax-free. Okay? Good? You're going to have it, too.
So it's a good idea. That's the first thing. Anything, you know, that involves people paying fewer taxes, I'm generally in favor of, as long as it's fair, as long as it's across the board. You know, in this case, anyone working overtime hours doesn't have to pay taxes on it, and that's fair. That's a benefit being granted across the board to anyone who works these hours, and it's a great idea. And it's a plan that will directly and immediately benefit millions of people. Those are the kinds of plans I like. And benefit them by giving them more access to their own money, right? Letting them, we're not giving them money. This is not a welfare program. We're not taking from others and giving, it's not redistribution. It's just, we're gonna let you keep your own money. This is your money, you keep more of it. That's the plan I like, okay? You wanna help people, you wanna help middle-class Americans, all class, Americans of all classes. I think the number one way you help us, is by letting us keep our own money. That's it. It's not even help, right? That's not help. You can't even call that help. You're not helping me by saying, oh, that's your own money, you can keep it. That's not help. That's more, you are refraining from sabotaging me, you know. It's like if somebody was gonna run up and rob you on the street corner and then decides not to at the last minute. Right, he can't expect you to say thank you. All he did was not rob you, which he shouldn't have done to begin with. So, but then notice how it works if you have plans from Democrats where they are supposedly going to help you. How does that work? Well, it's always like, okay, we'll start with this program and we'll put a bunch of money into the program, and then the program will have these initiatives, and the initiatives will lead to proposals, and those proposals will be considered, and if they're approved, the proposals will be adopted by committees, and blah, 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 and on and on. Nobody even experiences the actual benefit. Nobody outside of the government, that is. And if anyone does experience the benefit, it's always, again, going to be other people's money going to them. It's always, so it's all, you're just, all they're really doing is kind of spreading the problem around. But this is very simple and direct. Get rid of the taxes on overtime, work overtime, you keep a lot more of your own money. And if you pass that law, millions of Americans will feel the impact of it immediately. That is a significant positive impact felt immediately. And you could contrast this with Kamala, who actually hasn't even told us any of her policies. So Trump is out every, 3 days, it feels like, with a new policy proposal that he throws out there. Meanwhile, Kamala has not even given us the vague outlines of what kind of policies she wants to put in place when she's in power. So the contrast is very striking. All right, Fox News has this report. American gymnast Jordan Chiles couldn't hold back tears in her first interview about the retraction of her Olympic medal. The 23-year-old Olympian, nicknamed Chick, was embroiled in one of the biggest scandals of the Paris Games when she won bronze in the women's floor exercises after American coaches asked officials to review a score. Romania's Ana Barbasou initially finished with a higher score than Chiles. Once the American finished her routine, the judges reviewed the footage, changed the score, and bumped Chiles up to third place, sparking the initial controversy and fierce backlash from Romanians. Then on the last day of the Olympics, the Court of Arbitration for Sports ruled that the Chiles appeal was submitted past the 1-minute deadline and changed her score to drop her back into fifth place. The next day, on August 11th, the International Olympic Committee determined that Chiles must return the medal. Chiles gave her first sit-down interview about the incident this week during a panel at the Forbes Power Women's Summit 2024 on Wednesday. She said, quote, "To me, everything that has gone on is not about the medal. It's about, my skin color." Chiles previously claimed that she was facing racially driven attacks from social media users in a statement posted to X on August 15th. When Chiles won the bronze medal, it resulted in the first gymnastics podium in Olympic history that featured 3 black contestants. Quote, "It's about the fact that there were things that have led up to this position of being an athlete, and I felt like everything has been stripped." Okay, so it's racism. They're taking the medal away because a mistake was made, and that's racism. Remember, there were actually 2 Romanian gymnasts that were robbed initially. Chiles actually needs to return her medal twice because there are 2 other gymnasts who rightfully finished ahead of her. There's the one mentioned in the article, and then there's another one that was penalized for stepping out of bounds, even though she didn't. A replay clearly, absolutely, incontrovertibly shows that she did not step out of bounds, but she got a penalty anyway. And if she had not gotten that penalty, then she would have been in third place. Which means, again, that Chiles did not win the bronze. She doesn't deserve it. She didn't win it. That's it. It's not hers. It's not yours, Jordan. That's it. But she refuses to give it back because she made history with the all-black podium. And that's all that should matter, apparently. So yeah, that's the irony, of course, is that she says that the criticism is about her skin color. It isn't. Nobody cares about that. No one's talking about that. The only person talking about her skin color is her. So she says that they're saying she should give it back because she's black, but really she's saying she shouldn't give it back because she's black. So she's the one making it about her race. This is something that I've talked about a lot while doing interviews for the movie Am I Racist, coming out today, amирacist.com to get tickets. I've talked about the framework, right? We all have a framework. Your ideology, your belief system, your principles, your faith, that's your framework. That's the scaffolding. Or maybe it's an even better metaphor, really, is to say that all that stuff is your lens. So that's the lens that you look out at the world with. You see everything through that lens. And however that lens is tinted, that's how the world is going to be tinted. There's no way around that, by the way. Nobody sees the world in a truly objective way. Nobody's looking out at the world and actually seeing the world exactly as it is. Which isn't to say that the world isn't exactly one way or another. It isn't to say that we all have our own truth. I'm not saying that. there's only one truth. There is an objective reality that we all are a part of, but our ability to see and understand the objective reality is not perfect because we are flawed, fallible creatures. We are apt to get confused about things, to be mistaken, to think that things are true when they aren't, to be biased, to be, engage in wishful thinking and all that sort of stuff. And everybody's lens can get a little scuffed, a little bit dirty and blurry, and it makes it harder for you to see what's actually happening in the world. That's part of being a human being. We're not God. God sees everything all the time exactly as it is. We do not. So back to Jordan Chiles. She has the lens of left-wing racial ideology. That is her lens. She sees everything through that lens. She is actually incapable of separating it from anything that happens to her. Any misfortune she suffers is understood automatically through this lens. This is what it filters through. This is and it's what those of us who don't have that lens, it's what makes us so hard for us to understand, how she can see the world that way. And what's really hard for us to understand is this. It never even occurred to Jordan Chiles that she lost the bronze medal for reasons other than her race. I can tell you right now, she has not even paused for a second to think, I wonder if maybe this is just happening because it's an unfortunate thing and it's got nothing to do with the fact that I'm black. She hasn't thought that for a second, not a second. Right? The moment she got word that she had to give the medal back, immediately, first and only thought is, it's because I'm black. Race has to play a part in her world. It has to be the fundamental reason why this bad thing happened to her, because it's the fundamental reason why any bad thing happens to her, because that is the lens. That's how she sees the world. All right, one other thing. This is a funny moment on CNN where the anchor, Aaron Burnett, learns about Kamala's positions in real time. And, well, you just got to look at her reaction. Here it is.
So in 2019, in what K-File found, she said she would cut funding to ICE, writing, quote, "Our immigrant detention system is out of control, and I believe we must end the unfair incarceration of thousands of individuals, families, and children. I was one of the first senators after President Trump was elected to advocate for a decrease in funding to ICE." Well, now, of course, she's touting the Biden administration's executive order to crack down on the border. K-File's Andrew Kaczynski joins me now. Andrew, that's pretty incredible on its own when you're talking about what you found here on ICE. What else did you find?
Yeah, and this was a questionnaire that she filled out for the ACLU, and this questionnaire is really an interesting snapshot in time of that 2019 Democratic primary. Kamala Harris was trying to get to the left of Bernie Sanders. She was trying to get to the left of Elizabeth Warren, and you really see that in a lot of these answers, and I want to walk our viewers through a little bit of what she said. Let's just take immigration and look at what she said here. She said on immigration, she made this open-ended pledge to end immigrant detention. She said she supported taxpayer-funded gender transition surgeries for detained migrants. She also said she supported
taxpayer-funded gender transition surgeries for detained migrants. She actually said she supported that.
She both wrote and answered in the affirmative when she was asked this. Oh. And she said she also supported it for federal prisoners. Now, she also pledged to slash immigration detention by 50%, close all family and private facilities, and decrease funding for ICE, and then the end ICE detainers with local law enforcement.
I mean, these are things that, it would be hard to think that you would come up with taxpayer funding gender transitions for detained migrants, and yet this, as you say, written and verbally. So she's shocked. She actually said that. She said that she wants to give sex change operations to, illegal migrants. Yes, she did. Yes, Aaron. This is leftism. This is your ideology. Welcome to it. Welcome to your own ideology. And, the thing is that leftists for a very long time have benefited really from the fact that their own ideas are so insane. They benefit from that. We're seeing a similar thing play out right now with the eating dogs and cats thing in Springfield, where leftist ideas are so crazy that, and
And oftentimes the results of their ideas, the results of their policies also so crazy that we sound insane just for repeating them. And this is the game that they play all the time. And they're doing this now with Kamala Harris, especially with things that she said, not all that long ago, things that she said 4 or 5 years ago, the last time she ran for president. They're doing the same thing. Where if we say, well, Kamala Harris, she wants to give sex change operations to illegal immigrants, right? They scoff at us. Yeah, okay, weirdo. Well, how are we weird? She's the one who said it. We're just telling you what she said. I agree, it's insane. It's a crazy thing. It's completely deranged. It's bizarre. Yes, it's all of those things. But she said it. We're just repeating what she said. So this is the game. It's classic gaslighting, right? Classic gaslighting. They do the crazy thing. We point to it and say, oh, geez, look at that crazy thing over there. And then suddenly we're the crazy ones, as if we are the ones who are responsible for it. And they get away with it often because to people who are not politically attuned or who are not paying attention that closely, which is most people, to those people, it's so crazy that they just assume that we're making it up. So they're doing the same. I mean, we could think of a million examples. Same thing with the so-called quote unquote book bans in places like Florida. Well, what's the left doing there? They're trying to put gay pornographic material in elementary schools. And some states have said, no, you can't do that. No, we're not going to. Nope. Schools are not places where we just provide every book that's ever been written, right? Only a relative few books are going to be available in an elementary school or assigned in the curriculum, right? Millions of books have been written in the history of human civilization. Almost none of them are going to be in the school. They can't all be there. So we're going to choose which books are in the school. This is what we've done since forever. And we're not going to choose to put gay pornography in the schools. The most normal position a person could possibly have on something is that. No gay pornography in schools. But the left takes advantage of the ignorance of the average voter so that when we say no gay pornography in the schools, they say, what are you talking gay pornography in the schools? Okay, weirdo. You're the one putting it in there. You are advocating for putting it, this is gay pornographic material that you are putting in the schools. You're doing that. But the average voter sees it and they just don't believe it. They say, no, come on. No one's putting pornographic material in elementary schools. Come on, that's not happening. And that's how they get away with it. Because their agenda is so deranged, so corrupt, so evil, so far beyond the bounds of normalcy and decency that it just sounds unbelievable. And as we just saw in that clip there, it sounds unbelievable even to some people on the left. People who are paying attention to the news, people who are reporting on the news. It sounds unbelievable even to them. So what does that tell you? You know a service is solid when it gets great word of mouth. That's why I want to let you know what people are saying about our sponsor, ZipRecruiter. The marketing manager of NextKey said the number one reason why we love ZipRecruiter is because it's so fast and so easy. And the CEO of Walls Need Love said, I posted a job on ZipRecruiter and found my lead graphic designer within just a few days. The takeaway, well, if you're hiring, ZipRecruiter excels at finding qualified candidates fast. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Walsh. ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology identifies top talent for your roles quickly. And immediately after you post your job, it starts showing you qualified people for it. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See why ZipRecruiter is the hiring site employers prefer the most based on the review site G2, and try it for free at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/Walsh. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Walsh. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. The wait is over. Today is the day the Daily Wire's first ever theatrical release, Am I Racist?, is now playing in over 1,500 theaters across the nation. You heard that right. Over 1,500 theaters, coast to coast, are showing Am I Racist? The demand has been nothing short of shocking to the movie industry. Theaters were selling out during pre-sale, something that very rarely happens. Well, with your help, we're proving Hollywood wrong and taking on the left and their weird agenda with the most outrageous comedy to hit the big screen since Borat. This is important. The only way to see Am I Racist is in theaters, okay? Starting today. If you want to see it, you got to go to the theaters to see it, and you don't want to miss it there. Don't wait. Head over to amiRacist.com. Type in your city or zip code and grab your tickets and showtimes now. Let's make this opening weekend impossible to ignore. Make it so that the left and the corporate media cannot ignore it, which is what they much prefer to do. Get your tickets, fill those seats, help us dominate the box office this weekend. Now let's get to our daily cancellation. You know, there are a lot of well-known chants from political rallies throughout history. There was, we like Ike for Eisenhower. There was hell no, we won't go for the many protests during the Vietnam War. More recently, there was build the wall and lock her up during the Trump campaign back in 2016. These kinds of chants are historic artifacts in a way. Historians study them to get a sense of what things were like in the past. Yesterday, another chant was added to this storied list. It happened at a Tim Walz rally, of all places. We're talking about an instant classic here, one that future historians will study for a long time. And then after studying it, they'll look at each other and say, what the hell was going on back then? And then they might ask, how can this be real? And what were those people smoking? I don't have the answer to all those questions, but I can confirm, if any future historians are watching this podcast many years down the line, that this is a very real chant from a Tim Walz rally that took place in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And here it is.
You tell me you had this on your bingo card, and they're eating cats, and they're eating cat. What would you say?
Yes, they're chanting, we're not eating cats, over and over. And they're doing it with enthusiasm, too, like they rehearsed it. But again, we're the weird ones. They're chanting that they don't eat cats at their rallies. We're the weird ones. First of all, unless that rally was full of Haitians, which it isn't, then this chant doesn't even make sense. Nobody is saying that Democrats in general are eating cats. That's not a claim that anybody is making. The claim that people are making is that Haitian nationals specifically are eating cats. So already we're in very confusing territory with this chant. It's not even clear what they're trying to say. But if nothing else, we can determine from this chant that Republicans' claims about illegal aliens eating household pets, made most recently by Donald Trump at the debate the other day, have struck a chord with Democrats. They clearly don't think it's happening, and they're very, very upset that anyone's making the claim. In fact, they're upset to a degree that borders on comical at this point. That's only the case for Democrat Congressman Eric Swalwell, who had a meltdown in Congress earlier this week in response to a cat meme that was tweeted out by one of his colleagues. Watch.
What in the hell is this? The chairman tweets, protect our ducks and kittens in Ohio because he goes down some crazy rabbit hole, completely debunked that aliens are eating pets? My God. Are you okay, Mr. Chairman?
Now, it's safe to say this is the first documented panic attack that a member of Congress has suffered in response to a meme. But, well, I don't even know if that's true. The Democrats have been having a lot of panic attacks about memes. Certainly the first one in response to a cat and duck meme. I think we can say that. Put aside the specific facts of the cat eating allegation for a second. This was a joke image that he was responding to, an image that is clearly intended to be humorous and which millions of people have understood as humorous. But instead it provoked this reaction. And that might be one of the greatest images to come out of Congress this decade. In complaining about a meme, Eric Swalwell has turned himself into a meme. So we have a meme out of a meme. But most people are not like Eric Swalwell, thankfully. They're able to laugh a little bit, which is why the whole cat-dog eating allegation from the debate has prompted the creation of an entire genre of videos on TikTok. In fact, This was by far the most viral moment of the debate on TikTok, other than Trump's closing argument. Here's a representative video. Watch.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. Eat the cat.
It's a banger, as the kids would say. It's a club banger right there. Suffice it to say, at this point, everything is, gotten a little bit out of hand. The facts of the situation in Springfield are now secondary to the memes. So to correct the record, in order to prevent future mental breakdowns by sitting congressmen, it's important to clarify what we know and don't know about animals getting eaten in Springfield. As far as I can tell, the allegation that people's cats are being eaten first gained popularity after this recent body cam footage from Canton, Ohio, which is about 3 hours from Springfield, circulated online. Watch this.
What did you do? Why'd you kill the cat? Smile for me. Smile over teeth. Go like this. Did you eat that cat? Did you eat it? No, why'd you kill it? Did you guys see all this?
No, we pulled up and she was just laying there with him.
Did you see her eating it?
Eating it.
She was eating it?
Yeah, she was.
You call the Humane Society, see if they'll come pick this cat up. It's deceased.
Wait, why is the Humane Society picking up a dead cat? The cat was half eaten? I think it's a little late to call the Humane Society. Hey, get an animal shelter out here for this cat. It's they could take the half of it that still remains. Maybe somebody will adopt it. Anyway, so a woman with dark skin allegedly ate a cat. It's not clear if she was high or mentally disturbed or just really hungry, and the cat looked delicious. I don't know, but what is clear at this point is that the woman is not a Haitian migrant, legal or otherwise. The authorities have made that very clear. At the same time, the fact that this one incident did not involve a Haitian migrant does not mean that people's pets are necessarily safe in Springfield. The Federalist obtained the audio of a Springfield resident's phone call to police from about August 26th. This is before Springfield attracted national attention, so there's no chance that the caller was just trying to play into a current narrative. And in the call, the resident reports a group of Haitian migrants carrying 4 geese. Here's some of the audio.
Clark County Communications.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I got a question. This is a non-emergency line, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I'm sitting here. I'm riding on the trail going to my orientation for my job today. And I see a group of Haitian people. There was about 4 of them. They all had geese in their hand. They got away. I couldn't make out the first 3 of the license plate, but I got the numbers. The last numbers was, and it was a gray Toyota Tacoma they took off on. There was about 4 of them. There was 2 men, 2 women.
So this is obviously pretty strong contemporaneous evidence that Haitians may indeed be killing geese and other animals that they find on the street, which, I mean, I will say geese are incredibly annoying. So, if people want to kill any geese in my neighborhood, I'm fine with it. But then again, stray cats can also be kind of annoying, but I'm not endorsing eating them. Anyway, there's also these images from Springfield obtained by the Daily Wire's Spencer Lindquist showing that, quote, the heads and carcasses of slaughtered pigs are being left out in public. And you can see the image. Additionally, you might have seen this viral image of a dark-skinned man in Ohio carrying an animal on the street. This was apparently posted to Reddit a few months ago. There was no indication that the guy is actually from Haiti, and it doesn't appear that this was photographed in Springfield. And so a lot of people are using this photograph to say, well, aha, there you go. The right-wingers are lying about Haitians eating animals. But to believe that, you'd have to overlook the first-hand accounts of people actually living in Springfield. I'm not just talking about the 911 call or the Facebook images that Spencer obtained. I'm talking about the testimony from Springfield City Council meetings, some of which I played before, but here's just a couple of those videos.
They're in the park grabbing up ducks by their neck and cutting their head off and walking off with them and eating them like.
These are not civilized people. Opening containers in our grocery stores, helping themselves to what's inside and throwing the rest onto the shelves and floors. Pulling off of the highway to publicly clean and gut the roadkill lying there in front of anyone that passes by, stealing animals from farmers and leaving their severed heads at the side of an old school where children play, relieving themselves in public, making some barbaric stew out of the birds that live in our park. This is insanity, and it has to stop.
So at this point, in order to refute all the evidence, you pretty much have to say that Springfield residents are all wrong. They're relying on hearsay. Maybe the 911 caller was mistaken about what he saw. They're lying. They're engaged in some kind of anti-Haitian conspiracy. But in order to believe that, as implausible as it is, you'd also have to ignore Haitian culture itself. And it's simply a verifiable fact that Haitians eat cats. Here's an image that Shia Reichik found from 12 years ago. It's an image of a tourist in Haiti being served a stewed cat. And it's not from some right-wing propaganda site, it's from Reddit. And there are plenty more images and posts like this. Go on YouTube, you'll find Haitians posting video tutorials about how to properly peel a cat so you can eat it for lunch. I'm not going to go into any more detail than that. Everyone knows all of this is true. It is part of Haitian culture. That is where a lot of this stuff comes from. So if you import tens of thousands of Haitians into a small town in Ohio, it stands to reason that they might bring that culture with them. That's far more likely than the claim that all of these residents are lying. No, the Haitians may not have eaten other people's cats yet, or maybe they have, but it certainly seems like they're eating other animals that can be found on the street. And either way, it doesn't matter. The only important point to make here is that Haitian culture is not our culture. And there's really nothing good about making our country more like Haiti. Okay? That's why all these Haitians are coming here. But it's also why we have to send them back. There's not a single person who lives in America who would benefit from having our country more closely reflect Haiti or Haitian culture. And that is ultimately why Democrats who are having meltdowns over cat memes and the Haitians who are eating cats, if that is what they're doing, are today canceled. That'll do it for the show today and this week. Have a great weekend, a weekend that I certainly hope includes you going to watch our new film, Am I Racist?, which is in theaters right now. So get off your ass at this moment and go get yourself a ticket to the movie and enjoy. And I'll talk to you on Monday. Have a great day, great weekend. Godspeed.
Republicans are Nazis. You cannot separate yourselves from the bad white people.
Growing up, I never thought much about race. It never really seemed to matter that much, at least not to me.
Am I racist?
I would really appreciate it if you
I'm
left.
trying to learn. I'm on this journey.
If I'm going to sort this out, I need to go deeper undercover.
They gon' say I'm racist.
Joining us now is Matt, certified DEI expert.
Here's my certification. And what you're doing is you're stretching out of your whiteness. This is more for you and less for you. Is America inherently racist?
The word inherent is challenging
I want
there.
to rename the George Washington Monument to the George Floyd Monument.
America is racist to its bones.
So inherently.
Yeah, this country is a piece of
White.
folks,
White.
trash,
White supremacy.
white woman, white boy.
Is there a black person around?
This black person right here, does he not
They gon'
exist?
say I'm racist.
Hi, Robin.
Hi, what's your name?
I'm Matt.
Just had to ask who you are because you have to be careful.
Never be too careful.
They gon' say you racist.
In theaters now. Rated PG-13.